Welcome to Tassie's Football Fix for another week. I'm Damien Gill from FFT, and as always, I'm joined by Alex Luttrell from the Mercury to talk through a big weekend of the Victory League. Well, Alex, Olympia broke the hoodoo that they've had with the Rangers in quite some time.
Yeah, mate, it's been a while. I haven't beaten them at all in their history. I only met once outside or before the inception of the Victory League, though, so we'll get onto that one a little bit later. But first off, on Friday night, Tilford Zebras 5-2 victors over the Glenorchy Knights. Incredible sixth straight win for the Tilford Zebras. Ethan Ingles shone again with a first-half hat-trick, his second in as many weeks. Alex Zazinski got another two in the second half, but the Knights picked up two through Ben Robinson and Aaron Wilson in the last 10 or so minutes, just to make it a little bit nervy for Jed Donahue. Not so much for the result, but just goal difference perhaps, something they'd want to just rectify in the future.
Yeah, it was a funny old game. Zebras definitely the better side, but Glenorchy, you got to give them a bit of credit for not throwing in the towel, and they came home with a wet sail and were the better team for the last 20 or so minutes.
Yeah.
Some concerns for Jed Donahue out of that, not just for goal difference, but the two centre-backs both went off injured. I'm not sure they're too serious, but you think with a long season ahead, there's still some big games coming up. He'll want to have them fit and ready and raring to go.
Yeah, mate. Well, obviously, Russell Courtney came off. He got a metal stud through his boot. It tore a hole into his boot, so he's got a bit of a bruised toe. Nothing too serious, and it was a hamstring strain for Josh Fielding. Not too much of a concern. Hopefully, they'll be ready for this week.
Absolutely. The next game of the round saw Devonport dazzle the Kingborough Lions. They went down to 10 men. It was all too hard for the Lions. Devonport put 8 past them.
Yeah, it was incredible scenes for Devonport. Good win for them. They get back to within 6 points of the top 4, the Victory Cup spot, obviously. Jack Gleeson netted the first early on debut for Devonport before Louis Vidal pegged one back to make it 1-1 for the Lions. Andrew Duncan was dismissed, the goalkeeper for Kingborough, in the 17th minute. So they obviously going to struggle with 10 men up at Valley Road, Damo. From there, Bree Dennehy netted the resulting spot kick before Gleeson made it 3-1 into half-time. After that, Moore played a really big part, got a few assists and a goal himself. Dennehy rounded out his hat-trick, and Michael Holden came off the bench for Gleeson and netted a brace himself to finish up the scoreline at 8-1. So incredible scenes at Valley Road.
A massive win for them. Really strengthens their goal difference and puts them back in the fold for a Victory Cup spot, I think, with some big games to come.
Yeah, of course it does, mate. They've got to get the results for the rest of the season, though, you'd think, because that's still a fairly big deficit.
Absolutely. The next game of the round saw Top play bottom, and it went expected. According to plan, you got to say, Ludders. South Hobart smashing Lonnie City 8-0.
Yeah, mate. Well, the Launceston defence defended well up until the 24th minute before South finally broke through. From there, mate, it was all one-way traffic. Braden Mann needed 4 to take his tally up to 19, so he's on top of the Golden Boot tally. He's looking pretty in the prime for back-to-back Golden Boots. Andy Brennan netted 3, and Hugh Undy also netted 1. So Brennan is second on the tally as well, so they'll be pretty neck and neck, mate, for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. The two in the same team, you might think there's a bit of competition between the pair in the games towards the end of the third round.
Yeah, mate, it'll be interesting.
Interesting indeed, as was the last game of the round. We spoke about it a little bit earlier. Olympia finally broke the hoodoo they've had with the Rangers, winning that one, which ended up being a nail-biter, 4-3.
Yeah, well, the second half didn't seem much of a nail-biter until the last couple of minutes, mate, but we'll get to that one in just a sec. First off, Alex Holmes netted a header off an Alex Ralph free kick early in the piece. Great goal for him on his starting return from Brazil into the side, the captain. Pat Lanau-Atkinson then cut back for Ash Fisher, who netted his first Victory League goal for the Rangers, first start of the season, so great for him to restore parity. After that, it was pretty much all one-way traffic in the second half. Warren Wadawu netting in another header from another set piece for Olympia, before Manuel Sekiris and Nick Mearns both bagged pretty good goals just after the half-hour mark, between the 26th and 32nd minutes. Shane Brassington then pegged it back again, made it 4-2, just before half-time in the 40th minute with a nice goal of his own. We know Shane Brassington loves a good goal, Damo. And most of the second half, mate, it was Olympia really They had a lot of pace about them, a lot of tempo. They really dominated the play, but they did shut up shop a lot, defended strongly, good pressure across the park. No goals until the 93rd minute when Alex Ralph, who played a part in a couple of goals himself for the Warriors, netted an own goal to make it 4-3.
Yeah, it was a nail-biter for them, but a big 3 points for Olympia. It puts them above the Rangers on the table, but also, as we said, ended what was quite a hoodoo. They hadn't won in, I think it was 8 or so, or 7.
It was 5 in the end. Five games between in all competitions last season and this season. A lot of draws in there, mate, I will say, but no 3 points until the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We caught up with Olympia skipper Alex Holmes to just get his take on what was a bit of a hoodoo with the Rangers.
Yeah, definitely. It is a weight lifted. I think it's 5 or 6 matches, including start of the new state league, Victory League, and also including the start of the year in the statewide cup finals, not finals, statewide cup as well. So definitely a big weight lifted. Alex
Holmes there, Ludders, and a bit of a shiner from that goal he scored.
Yeah, mate, it was a great goal, so I'm pretty sure I'd be happy with it in the end.
Happy. Oh, why not? Why not? Indeed. On to round 15 now, and we're into the last round of fixtures of the Victory League in 2014. And it all kicks off on Friday night with the last match of the Launceston Mitsubishi and Launceston Mazda Derby Cup between Launceston City and the Northern Rangers.
Yeah, mate, huge game. Obviously, the Rangers have already taken out the cup in the best of 3. They won the last 2. The northern side in the derby, but in this match takes on a bit of significance for one particular individual. The John McKenna medal goes to the best across all 3 games. I'm going to tip the Rangers to do the whitewash. They'll be comfortable, I reckon, 5+ in this one, and Shane Brassington going to go with him for the John McKenna.
Yeah, I'm much the same when it comes to the Rangers. I think they'll get the job done comfortably, and I like my boy the Townhouse for this one. I reckon Harry Tannhauser to collect the medal, and he's been a real rising star this year in the Victory League.
Yeah, mate, he's been superb through the middle of the park, and he's made a real name for himself.
Absolutely. Next, on Saturday, we have a KG5 double header. That is Glenorchy Knights versus South Hobart, first of all, Ludders. A tough task for the Knights, you've got to say.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Coming off a big loss last week. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it against the ladder leaders this week either. I reckon it's going to be 6-1. I reckon they'll get a nice little goal of their own, but it's going to be no consolation in the end.
So you think no fairy tale result for Shea Hickey against the old club?
Nah, mate, not this time around.
No, I tend to agree. I think South Hobart, they're on a bit of a roll now, and that'll just keep rolling on. I think Ben Hamlet for a couple this week, and Braden Mann, he always seems to get 1 or 2.
Yeah, he's got a real eye for goal, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. The second game of the double header is Tilford Zebras versus Devonport City. An absolute beauty, Ludders. I reckon it's probably pick of the fixtures this week.
Yeah, definitely is for mine, mate. We know Devonport are really vying, and as we said before, for the top 4 spot. Been some interesting games between the two this season and last season as well. 2-0 to the Zebras early in the year down here, and then 2-0 to Devonport up at Valley Road. So identical fixtures. I wonder what can happen this time around. But I'm going to go with the Zebras 3-1 this time. Joel Stone against his former side, so it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to agree. I think Tilford Zebras, but I think just 3-2. I reckon it's going to be a bit of a shootout. Should be good to see, so head along to that one. Last game of the round is on Saturday night. We're back at Warrior Park, and Olympia hosts Kimbra Lions, who will be out for a bit of retribution after a poor display last week.
Yeah, mate, definitely. 8-1 loss. You've got to find some sort of winning form again soon, but I don't think it's going to be against the Warriors. I reckon the home side will run out 4-1 victors in a very bruising affair, because we know both teams like to play a fairly physical brand, but the Warriors for mine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Warriors are too good a side not to get the job done against a Kimbra side that just hasn't had much consistency about their lineup this year. I mean, there's been changes galore, but I'm expecting they'll deliver a bit of a response. I think it'll be a tight one. I'm just picking 2-0 to the Warriors, though.
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
That's round 15, and that is all we've got time for this week on Tassie Football Fix. We'll be back with more Victory League action next week, but for now we'll leave you with the best goals and saves from round 14.